we'll commence. Look, thank you very much for joining us today and spending your time with us. I'd like to firstly welcome you from all the particular lands that you're coming from, and I pay my respect to elders past and present. Look, firstly, I just want to congratulate you for just coming on board and the work that you're doing. I think a lot of times we don't pat ourselves on the back and recognise that, you know, we are doing formidable work in this area, and even you guys just coming on board and considering entering the Banksy Awards, I think is really commendable, and I just want to commend you from the outset for the work you're doing, and really talking about why we're running the awards. And Banksy has been running sustainability awards for the past 35 years. This is my 25th year at Banksia, and I just love seeing what's being done in this country. I think we really need to talk about positivity and optimism. I think it's really important that we shed the work that we're doing, and I think never more than now, we need the champions. New South Wales needs inspiration from our leaders and innovators, you know, examples of people who are actually doing it. It's the practical applications that we all need to view. Imke, can we go on to the next slide, please? Sorry. Yeah, so you are the guys that are giving it a go and getting through this, you know, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to all of us to look at new ways of doing things and changing our strategies, the way our organisations, our products are produced, all those sorts of things. It's not easy, and we need to be acknowledged. We need to pat ourselves on the back, and we need to show other people. Awards are there for recognition. I find the most important part of an award is that we can promote what is being done and inspire other people. And this is why we are so desperate for you guys to enter, so that we can create that platform and going forward. I mean, telling your story and how it's done, it does create that momentum. And as I said, we've seen that over the 36-year history of Banksia. We're doing it now through the New South Wales Awards, and I'd really like to thank the Department Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water in having the vision to be able to recognise and work with you know, with the people. I mean, they've got some amazing programs going internally, but this program is important to actually recognise what's being done. So, as I said, we need to get that message out, and, you know, we really are encouraging you to take the step and go and play with us, as we say. We're there to help you at every step of the way and show what you're doing. But let's have a look at why you should enter. More specifically, it's really to assess your work against new criteria and quantify what you've achieved. Sometimes we keep churning, but we don't take the time out to actually have a look at what we're doing and how we're doing it and what we've achieved, because we're on the continual grindstone of achieving things and accomplishing things. Use the entry process as a learning experience, because we do have specific criteria. It may be areas that you haven't even considered or mightn't have been looking at. So look at it also as a new experience of you know, delving into what you are actually doing. It's a really valuable summary for other purposes. A lot of our entrants have sort of said, look, we use this document for all sorts of other things, for applications, for grants, for other documentation that they might need. So it is a valuable document to have and to use for future purposes for other platforms. When you're putting it together, one of the key things, don't do it as a silo. Talk to everybody. Talk to your partners, co-workers, suppliers. But the wonderful thing, you're talking in a positive light, because you're talking about what you've achieved. And it might be a different conversation that you haven't had with people before. So what have we done? How have we done it? So that's part of that whole storytelling part of the entry. So as I said, get everyone involved, talk to everybody beforehand, and really discover what you are doing. And Matt, you could even touch on topics or areas that you commonly don't talk about, but this is a really good opportunity to bring that out. By becoming a finalist and being part of the New South Wales Sustainability Awards Story mechanism, I mean, we do promote, once you become a finalist, we do highlight your case study in New South Wales Sustainability Success Stories, which is on our website and which is on the issue platform. And that's read extensively, not just in New South Wales, Australia, but overseas. So it's a great promotional platform to be able to really tell your story. So when you are putting your entries together, remember that case study that you put together is, and if you become a finalist, is going out to a whole possibly new platform. So use that as a promotional tool. Look, winning an award, and we'll go down to the basics. Why do you enter an award? Yes, you want the notoriety. You want to be seen as being the best. So, as I said, I think there's a lot more strings to winning an award, but the notoriety, and we work with you. We put out social media platforms. We put it out in the EDM. We work with you in promoting not just your winner status, but your finalist status. So even becoming a finalist is a really, really powerful mechanism for the awards. So keep that in mind. And the nice thing too, that winners go automatically into National Banksia Sustainability Awards. And I must admit, New South Wales is really nailing it. I mean, all the winners that come through from New South Wales that go into the Banksia Awards, and become winners, is just phenomenal. So as I said, there's something in the state, there's something happening in New South Wales that's really it's of national national recognition. So you guys are doing a great job in New South Wales. The other good thing, and I have to thank Lynn Fairbrass for getting this going, is the Banksia New South Wales alumni. And once you become a winner, you become a member of this exclusive club. And we have forums, we have get-togethers, we have educationals, and there's so much happening in this area where our winners are connecting, looking at how they can work together, how they can solve problems together. Let's face it, we all have problems, no matter how good we are. We're always trying to become better. But this platform is phenomenal. We're excited because we're going to an event in late June, looking at some of our winners' work. And this is a real opportunity, as I said, to further promote, further network, further relate to other people that are in your space, probably from different industries, different sectors. But it's amazing how we've brought people together and all of a sudden they're looking at programs, working together, collaborating together. So it's something that, as I said, when you go and you're writing your entry, it's not just the winning of the award, that you have a nice trophy and you can say that you won this award. There's so many things more. Award programs need to be that. It doesn't stop at you being handed that award program. It's how we can play with you after that, and how we can promote the wonderful work you are doing, but also how can you utilize that network of winners and going forward. I always tell someone, because I think it's really interesting. One of the hard things for Australians to do is actually put their hand up for an award, because I think Australians are the most humble people on earth. We're not good enough. We haven't got there, We need to shout out. We really need to shout out what we're doing. And this awards program is possibly the best way of doing it. And as I say, from a selfish point of view, from Banksia, we use you to hopefully promote what other people can be doing, and showing even our young people the optimism that there is really great companies, great organizations, great SMEs that they can work, that they can work towards or create a career in, that they will be making a difference. And I think our youth today really need that insight into what they can do and how they can make their difference. I know they go out protesting and it's terrible, but let's create a positive framework for them where they can see the light and really see how they can be part of this wonderful change that you guys are part of. Okay, that's me for the. Oh no, sorry, very important. The process. We're always into process, right? So we need to go through the process. Look, the awards are open up to July 24th. So please, and look, I'm there, Imka's there, Lynn's there. If you have any questions, just contact us through the email, and we can ring you and take you through personally if you have any queries or you know anything to do with the entry process. We're there to help you. So don't just give up and say, oh, don't know about this. Please contact us, and we can sort of hold your hand through the process. The judges shortlist and screen entrants based on the eligibility criteria. So it's really, really important, you know, that you really look at how we've structured the entry, because it really will help judges to judge if you do follow that. And we'll have one of our judges talking about that later. Then entrants are contacted to arrange an interview and ask questions by judges. Now, this process, we introduced this process a number of years ago of the interview session. Not everyone is a brilliant writer. And sometimes you forget things that might be really pertinent to what you're doing. So this is a really great opportunity. The judges write the questions, we send them back to you, you respond to them, and then there's a conversation that we have between you and the judges on your entry. So it's a sort of a second opportunity to and if you're shortlisted for this, to again make sure that you're presenting everything that the judges need to ascertain your complete entry. So we find this really also inspiring. I must admit, the judges get very inspired through these interview sessions and finding out what you guys are doing. But this is a really important part of the judging process. And then the judges meet to determine finalists and winners, and the finalists will be announced on September the 20th. And then winners announced at the awards presentation at the Maritime Museum on October 31st. And we'd like to thank the Maritime Museum for their tremendous support. They've been a wonderful supporter of the New South Wales awards. Okay. So just a few, as I said, top of the line things. Try and follow the entry questions. It's easier for you to structure the entry and also keep the judges in mind. The judges are reading so many entries, you know, so it's easier for them to assess across the entries, across specific criteria. So make sure that you really do follow that and try and answer that to your best ability. A lot of people put attachments, you know, and that's fantastic, but make sure your attachments are relevant to your entry. It's not just something to plump it up and say, oh, that'd be nice to throw in. Judges don't have the time to go through all the attachments. And if you are putting an attachment in, make sure that you refer to it in your entry and take the judge to the particular attachment, possibly not the whole attachment, but specifically where you want to support your entry in that, you know, it could be a report of some kind or whatever. Take them to the page so they're not just ambling through and trying to find the information that they need. The other thing is, you know what you're doing. You work in it day and night, but get someone else to read it and make sure that it makes sense. Someone that mightn't be probably familiar with your work. It's really important that that the entry does make sense and that you're not too focused on what you're doing, in the sense that you don't explain it properly. And we found this is the best way in trying to give someone else just a quick read and sort of saying, look, yes, makes sense, all that sort of thing. And it just also gives you a critical approach also to the way you're putting it forward, and that getting that external so-called verification. Oh, spell check, please. I know people are really it's important that you do the spell check. It doesn't decrease your marks, but it possibly puts the judge in a not in the best frame of mind in reading the entry. It's a stupid little thing, but it's an important little thing. So make sure that makes sense. And tell your story. Don't forget, this is not a computer exercise. It's not a grant application. you're talking to fellow human beings. Express your passion, express possibly how hard it's been, you know, because that in itself, and how you've solved problems, express how you've collaborated, you know, with people, and you know how you've really gone out of your way. These are some of the things that we take for granted, but the judges are looking for these sorts of things, and how you communicate with people and all those extra things. You know, you're working on the project, but how have you engage people in actually getting this project or product or whatever you're doing, the process? How have you been able to bring people on board and engage them and become part of that process? So make it relatable. So it is a story. So it does come through as a as I said, as something that the judges can really read with interest. Look, and we're not, and I'm not talking writing styles or anything. It's just basic facts that you're putting in there, basic commentary, basic explanations that really bring your entry to life. Okay. So I've just outlined some very high level aspects of the entry, but I'd like to welcome now Isabella Kobolansky, who's principal at Planning Results. Isabella has been a judge for quite a number of years, has a very, very good experience and advises us on a lot of things. So Isabella hopefully will take you through some of the more integral points of putting your entry together. Isabella, welcome.
Thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity to share with you my views as a judge. As Graz just mentioned, I've been a Banksia judge for longer than I care to remember. But what you may also be interested to know is that I've also been on your side. I've prepared numerous submissions, so I totally understand what you're going through and at what stage. So hopefully having both sides will give you an idea of what I can give you more insight in from both perspectives. So let's start by setting the scene. Due to all the, can we have the next slide, please? Imka?
Sorry, not working for a second.
Okay, well then I can just keep talking. For most of us, because of all the new talent shows and everything on TV, we see judges as a Simon Cowell, and he's there to make it hard for us and point out all our errors. Well, in the instance of the Banksia Awards, judges are here to understand, not catch you out. So help us. We're on your side. We want everyone to, in fact, I know as a judge, I find it emotionally draining because I want everyone to win. So if you can help us to help you, then that would be really great. Now, by that, I mean, the clearer your submission, the more supporting information, the more evidence you present, the easier it'll be for the judge to see how good your initiative is. So please explain everything to the best of your ability so that we're not left wondering. And as Graz mentioned, a quick tip, if you follow the criteria sections, it's easier for the judges to assess your submission and not trying to find things where in different areas. So it's just easier for us to go through it. Now tell your story, how you make a difference. Why should you be recognized? Think of it as you're pitching for business, trying to get someone to fund your initiative. You know your initiative better than anyone else. So tell us what you do and why. More importantly, why are you different, better, and should be recognized for what you are doing? Be blunt. There's this, as Graz said, there's no time for humility, nor is there the word space for humility. Because if you don't point it out, we might just miss it. We're reading a lot of submissions, and use a tone that reflects you. I know that AI is very helpful and it may be helpful, but if it doesn't read as it genuine your words, you can pick it up. So make it you, make it your personality. Have the outcomes actually been achieved already, and for how long? With the exception of the Climate Technology Impact Award, all award categories are looking for achievements in the real world. Recent results are also important within the last 2 years. It's important to demonstrate the impact of these results. It's all very nice to have 20 million people look at your post, but have you actually made some impact, change behavior? Tell us what we want to know. If you're saving CO2 emissions, how do you know? What is your proof? And what makes you better as a leader, an innovator from the next guy? These are the things you've got to tell us. You don't assume that we're going to know. Now, the one that everyone loves, support your entry with qualitative results. So to speak, show me the money. I believe I'll say that again, I got my tongue tied. I believe you to a point, but it's always nice to have proof. And one of the best ways is meaningful qualitative results. The results need to reinforce the point and point out that you're the leader in the pack. It needs to support that you're an innovator in this area and striving for excellence. So don't just data dump the qualitative results, make them meaningful and make them support your story, and substantiate your claims and strengthen your position as a leader and an innovator and a person striving for excellence. Now, Graz already touched on the supporting evidence. You need supporting evidence because, again, I trust you and we're going to be great friends, but to a point, I need to know that what you're telling me is true. So you might have documents and things like that which support it, but use these in your appendix. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I see a lot of people put appendix. I'm not going to read them all. What you need to do is in your submission, pick the areas in your appendix which are relevant and note them in your submission. So I'll say, okay, for example, if you're referring to something in a annual report, say it's on page 25, section whatever, and I'll go, okay, I'm going to have a look, because if you just say refer to annual report, I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee and think, oh no. So try and make it as easy for the judges to get the information, because you can't put it all into the submission. So what you put in the appendice can help you, but if you use it well, excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. What is the difference this initiative has made exactly? Keep it simple, but make it obvious. If you're a world leader, then tell me. If it's a first in your industry, then tell me and explain to me why. You know better than anyone else why you're the best and why you should be recognized. So that's important that it comes out. And you've got to remember that a lot of the judges may know a lot, but not be as invested in your area as you are. So you need to bring it out to us and let us know. Why is your initiative different to other similar projects? Be clear and concise. Now, on the surface, sometimes things may appear similar, but they are not. So explain why. Not all washing machines are the same. So tell me why. Other groups may have attempted similar things, but you did it better and achieved results. So don't be afraid to say so. Don't hide the fact that other people have been doing similar things and that you're breaking ground where other people haven't. Because sometimes people get afraid to say, oh, this has been done before, so we better not mention it. That's not the case. Be upfront. Say, you know, the Joe Blogs down the road tried it, but we have taken it one step further. We have made it better. We have made it bigger. We have found ways that this is going to make a difference to the world. Don't feel that you need to write pages and pages. Well, firstly, you don't have that. You're not applying for a Walkley Award. This is a Banksia, the New South Wales Sustainability Award. And it's all about getting your message across. So if it works better as bullet points, use bullet points. If it works better as a table, put it in as a table. If it's an infographic explains it best, use that. Finally, you may not get everything in your submission. So that's why there's the interview process. This will allow the judges to get clarification we're really on your side. Remember, the interview is a chance to answer questions. And more importantly, if you have any questions from me, wait till the end and I hope I can assist you more. So thanks for your time.
Thanks, Isabella. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving us a bit of an insight into what the judges are looking for. And look, our judges are wonderful, but as I said, follow some of these things because it's really important. They do a wonderful job in reading, but they do offer their time, and it's really difficult from their perspective if they have to go through all these incredible amount of information. So as I said, I think what Isabella said is really important, and if you could follow that. Again, if you have any difficulties with anything or want more explanations, please contact us. Look, I really am very appreciative. One of our past winners from the New South Wales, and one of the amazing people that went through to the national awards from the New South Wales is Transport for New South Wales. Deborah is going to join us and give her insights into the process that she went through in entering the New South Wales Awards, and possibly give you some tips and tell you a little bit about her experience. Deborah, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. Great. So I just thought I'd do a little overview. So Parramatta Light Rail, it's based in New South Wales, obviously a light rail service through Parramatta. If you just go to the next one. Okay, thank you. So I'm joining you today from the Gadigal lands, from Gadigal of the Eora Nation, and obviously we're just paying our respects to elders past and present. So Parramatta Light Rail, the stage one, this is a quick overview. It's a light rail project through, connecting Westmead, Parramatta, and all the way up through to Carlingford. Connects some really important precincts, and it's currently in testing phase due to open the middle of this year. And as part of this project, it was, I guess, the key focus is that it wasn't just building a light rail, it was all the additional things we did about community, about sustainability, climate change, biodiversity, and engaging, the broadened community around us and how this benefited through community initiatives, through employment opportunities. So for us, the focus of this project was really how can we improve the area that we're working in. So I just wanted to give you some tips and some feedback, from our award process. So obviously entering the awards, a really important factor is that the Banksia Awards are prestigious. There's a lot of state and national recognition. So obviously when the opportunity came up to enter these awards, it was a real key focus for our team and for transport as a whole. So we looked at, all the award categories, and we looked at the criteria in detail and kind of lined up, all right, where are we best suited to match the specific award category, based on the criteria. So definitely recommend that you review the categories, look at the criteria and try to fit yourself into the best one. And then what we did was we engaged with the project, with our comms team, with our contractors, and we tried to really look, okay, what are the deadlines? How much time do we need for this? How many reviews do we think we're going to have? And give yourself enough time. I cannot state that more. Make sure that you've given yourself enough time to polish and read it and reread it and come back to it, because that definitely really helps. So make sure that you note the deadlines, give yourself time, and you allocate your resources, and give yourself kind of a timeline for how you're going to enter the awards. So how do you stand out? So a key thing that we did at the start was look at the award criteria and use this as a submission template. So all those little dot points under each subheading that's in that criteria, put it into your Word document and really start building it from that basis. And then you know that you're not going to miss out on any any specific criteria. And you're going to be meeting, answering all the questions and providing the correct information. And then as part of our submission, we really tried to use subheadings and dot points to break up the text. So instead of just having, a wall of text, which, as Isabella was saying, can sometimes be a little bit full on to read, we really tried to, keep it factual, use really specific subheadings and, pointed dot points to make sure that we address the criteria. And we monitored our word count, so make sure that you're always checking. And, we even had our word count, in a big highlighted green text. So everyone was aware that that was a word count that you had to stick to. And then to try and make us really stand out, we used a lot of engaging images. So great color, focused on what we were discussing at that point in the submission. So if it was about community, you had community. If it was about climate change and biodiversity, you had, images related to those things that you've achieved on the project. And definitely graphics was a big thing that helped if you're trying to get, factual outcomes, or you're trying to get data across. Putting it into a little graphic can convey that information really quickly, and make it more visual rather than just having a lot of text in the submission. And then again, factual, concise information. So when you're reading it and reviewing it, just keep to the points. What have you done? What did you achieve? How did you achieve it? Next. So just make sure that it was concise, and you were conveying your point, because you do have a word limit and it is a lot of information to fit in there. And then, as I probably brushed on earlier, outcomes focus. So Isabella, I think, was touching on this as well. What did you do? How did you do it? Have you done it? And provide that supporting data to really back up those claims. So how has the Banksia Awards impacted transport? So it's been fantastic, I've got to say. Even being a finalist is such an achievement. There's so many people go in for these submissions and these awards. It's such a, recognizable national award. So for us, just the recognition for the team, for the delivery partners, and for the community that we're working in, it was such kudos to be a finalist and to be a winner in both the state and the national award. And it really shows, that the organisation Transport, we're leading by example. So we're saying sustainability is important and we're implementing best practice. And here's, the Banksia Award is a fantastic recognition of that achievement and what we are delivering on these major infrastructure projects. And it definitely supports a lot of media opportunities. So the kudos you get, the recognition, it bolsters the reputation of our organisation. And internally, it also, engages our staff and other projects to continue pursuing these sustainable excellence and have these outcomes, and just the value that sustainability has as a whole across the organisation is just really, it's recognised, and it just has really encouraged everyone, I think, to continue pursuing sustainable excellence. So so lessons learned. So definitely reviewing it from a project-based and a marketing-based perspective. Get other people that whose opinion you value, who might not necessarily be in your industry, get them to read it, because from their perspective, they might be picking up on things that you're not, you're so into it, your project so well, what you do so well. And it's not until someone else who doesn't know it that well looks in and says, wait, this doesn't make sense, or I don't understand, these points, can you clarify? And so definitely multiple reviews really helps. And also subject matter experts. So, for us, from a transport point of view, we had people, from multiple different areas reviewing and kind of pulling us up on, that doesn't make sense, or that's not right. So that was really a big lesson learned for us. And then again, when we went from the state to the national awards, we reviewed that feedback from the judges, and we actually edited our submission based on that feedback. So don't just take that feedback on and kind of set and forget. Look at your submission again, add in what you've missed, update it for what wasn't really that clear. And then a big one for us was the graphics. I think that really assisted in us minimizing our word count and conveying information that might be a little bit, dry in the sense of just dot points of percentages of what you've achieved. But by putting that in a graphic, it just made it a bit more engaging. And finally, post-award. So as I was saying before, it's so fantastic for our reputation. It enhances your visibility. We had so many media opportunities with interest in the project generated from this Banksia Award, including industry publications. And it really, for us, it kind of underpins the importance of sustainability, both internally and externally. So at the end of the day, everyone here knows the importance of sustainability, and this award submission and process is such a fantastic way of conveying that to a wider audience. And then internally, it really engaged, our teams, kind of drives that competitive nature, where other projects are saying, well, we can do that and we can get something similar to that embedded in our projects. And it kind of opens people's eyes to what's, the award is one thing, but kind of the pathway of integrating sustainability and what that delivers in projects, full stop. And the awards is just a way of being able to recognize that and convey that information. So I think that was really helpful internally as well. And even from that broader media, publication, we've had people come post-award, come to us and ask us, it has really driven that external engagement across the wider market. And through the award submissions, we've been able to share what we've done to other projects, interstate more than what we had before, based on the award and the media that came out of this. So even that collaboration and that networking opportunity that has come from these awards, just being a finalist and also winning the awards has been a massive driver, and has really helped us kind of share those sustainable lessons learned and what we've done, and make sure that it continues being implemented on future projects. So it's been, very good for us here at Transport.
Deb, thank you so much. And as I said, it was exciting to see your journey from the New South Wales Awards to the Nationals. But as I said, it's one thing that I did omit, and which you raised, is the feedback that we provide. The judges do spend a lot of time in assessing your entry, but also giving us commentary on, possibly some of the things that you could improve. So thank you for bringing that up. But I will ask if there's any questions from anybody to Deb specifically. And if there's anything there, if you can, just trying to see if there's any questions. If you can just speak up, possibly, rather, because it's hard to just see who's got their hand up. Any questions?
I do have one question. It's Roger Smith here.
Yes, Roger.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic, Deb. I just wanted to clarify something. The word count is obviously critical, and I know there's a bit of flexibility in that. Is it tricking the system to put in graphics or not? I suppose this is a wider question, but did you still stick to the same word count?
Yep. So we did. So I think there's a, correct me if I'm wrong, Grace, but there's a 5 or 10% leeway either way. Yeah. So we made sure that we factored in the 5 or 10%. I think it's 10.
10%.
10%, yep, and included that in our absolute maximum word count permissible. And then no, the graphics don't count to the word, didn't count to the word count in our submission. But when I say graphics, I don't mean having like an image with like 6 text box in it full of text in itself. It was more say, we had a list of achievements for community benefits and, workforce development. So instead of having, dot pointed, 6% of women in non-traditional roles, we had kind of like a big graphic that just had all of these outcomes for each category put into a, kind of a square graphic with some images to support it. So, or if we're looking at kind of, you know, linking how our objectives went to our goals. So having a graphic that kind of had, you know, the objective in a text box and then like the 3 goals that it was linked to in with arrows. So kind of more that visual assistance.
And did you have any appendices at all, Deb?
No, we didn't include any appendices in our submission. I think we tried to keep everything in the submission itself, and I think that I'm not sure. Don't want to speak for the judges here, but I do think that kind of helps, makes it a bit easier to have everything there in the one submission.
And just one last one, please, is had you entered before? In other words, was this your first entry or had you entered before?
No, so I think Transport has previously entered, and I know that through this round of Banksia Awards, there was another transport project who had entered into the awards, but for my team and for Parramatta Light Rail, it was our first award submission ever. So incredible outcome for us in that sense.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. Any other questions from anybody else for Deb or for Isabella or myself? No, we're all happy. Okay. Thank you. And again, Deb, thank you so much for that. As I said, it was very exciting to see your road and what you guys are up to. I mean, as I said, I've been doing this for 25 years. I love seeing all the projects and as I said, what you guys are achieving. So it was really exciting. Now I'd like to welcome Annette Brodie. She's the founder and CEO of the Reconnect project. We've chosen 2 different types of entrants and winners for the New South Wales Awards because we want to show that people at large scale organisations, and Annette is the founder of a social enterprise and a small organisation that's really, you know, depending on funding and all that. So there's an array of entries, and we wanted to show slightly different perspectives. So Annette, welcome, and yeah, let's hear from you.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity to speak. So the Reconnect project is a very small organisation. We are a registered charity and accredited social enterprise with a mission to close the digital divide in the community. And our mission is achieved by distributing refurbished mobile technology to people in situations of need. For us well, I'll just go a little back in history a little bit. I've worked in waste and recycling and sustainability programs for over 20 years, and the Banksia Awards have always been on my absolute bucket list. Like one day I am going to be applying for these, and one day I'm going to stand on a stage. It's something that I have dreamed of for at least the last 10 to 15 years. And to actually have achieved that, not just at a state level, but also at a national level this year, blew my mind. And I was actually lost for words, which is unusual for me.
Actually, you were. I must admit you were.
It is unusual for me. I guess in terms of, you know, pulling together an application and submitting it, I do a lot of grant writing. So I am constantly crafting the story of the Reconnect project for whichever audience I'm writing for. And I think what really helped, I believe what helped us stand out in terms of our application and for the circular economy category is the fact that I told it as a story. And that is how I introduced, and I'm actually sitting in the Helensburgh Tradies Club where I've given a presentation to the Provost Club of Helensburgh on our program. It's how I tell the story of the project in every setting, is by telling a story. So I think, if I may I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yep, I think Imka's just setting that up.
Because I thought what I would actually do is actually show you our application, show you how we laid it out and the different ways that we presented the information or the whole story. So is it possible for me to share, Imka?
I think so. I think the settings should allow you to try. So give it a go.
Yeah. Screen. Okay, here we go. All right, are we seeing that?
Yep.
Okay, so the application guidelines are really straightforward, I think, in terms of how you need to, or what kind of information you need to include and how the judges want to see it laid out. And it's really important to make sure that you're following that closely because they're going to be reviewing hundreds of applications and you want to make sure that you're giving them all the information that they need. So I structured this as though it was a presentation document that I was providing somewhere, our title page, and then the story, exactly how we started, what our mission is, and like Transport for New South Wales, I was including graphics and images to help break up the content and make it a little bit more interesting, rather than it just being a huge amount of text, inserting the absolutely essential information, such as which sustainable development goals we match up with. So this was the way of laying it out. A little bit of background about how we began and where we've come from. Again, images and keeping within the word count within each of these sections. Images and graphics showing our impact and our outcomes at a community level, and specifically here, very clear as to what it is that we've actually achieved to date. So in terms of the total number of devices we've distributed, the breakdown of people where they've gone to support, what we've done in terms of other sustainability initiatives in terms of making sure the parts that we don't use in repairing devices are actually being recycled appropriately. So that's a way of the question just earlier in terms of do the graphics take away from the text? No, the graphics add to the text. So it's a way of saying, well, actually, there we've got 680 kilograms of lithium batteries recycled. And it's a cute little graphic that draws the attention of the reader to the fact that we've done that. Again, photos, breaking it up, talking about why we're different, what sets us apart, our certifications, what we're affiliated with. We are a very small charity, so we don't have a marketing budget to go out and promote ourselves. So this is an opportunity for us to showcase what we do. And, you know, our outcomes, again, partnerships are crucial to how we operate. I wanted to highlight the importance of that in our application. And then our finish piece. So it's keeping it to the point, it's following the heading that the entry criteria has laid out and making sure that you're not repeating information over and over again, you're addressing each of those questions succinctly and efficiently with your text. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. There we go. So in terms of how I approached getting started with this, it began as a Word document. It began as a whole lot of ideas thrown in on the page with those big headings and what do I want to talk about in these sections, what information is relevant to each different section as I'm going. The biggest benefit, I guess, from me doing this is we've never, the Reconnect project is only 5 years old. We've never entered a Banksia Sustainability Award before. In a previous role at a previous employer, I have entered the New South Wales Sustainability Awards and won the category and also the Premier's Award. But things have certainly changed. That was in 2016. So things have certainly changed between then and winning the 2023 award. So for me, as I was getting started, it was breaking it down into those headings and just plonking the ideas down on the page and then thinking about how I was going to turn that into a narrative that actually engaged the reader and kept them wanting to find out more. My son's in year 12, a bit of an aside. My son's in year 12 and he was struggling the other day with his English creative writing, which he only had 600 words. And I said, the purpose of this piece of writing is not to get the entire story, but it's to draw the reader in to want to read more. And I think that's what you're doing in each section. If you're saying, this is really interesting, this is how amazing we are, read on, find out more about what we are. In terms of what winning the award has done for the Reconnect project, I mean, it's huge for us. We are an incredibly small organisation, and we were up against some multi-million-dollar circular economy for-profit programs out there. And here's us as a little charity with a turnover around 200 grand a year up against these big organisations that probably had a marketing team working on their application, whereas we had just me pretty much. It just blew my mind, and it is a source of immense pride for my entire team. The Reconnect project supports young adults with neurodivergent conditions, autism, ADHD, OCD, and we help them to get skills and employment as electronics and mobile device repairers. Bringing back an award for these guys, they all felt like they were there on the night, and it totally bolstered the team, internal resource levels. We feel so often, because what we do as an organisation is supporting other people in need, that very rarely do we ever get a sense of satisfaction back to ourselves. We don't get that feedback, but winning an award certainly provides us with that feedback loop. That, yeah, you are actually doing something that is making a difference in the world, and it's being recognised. And it's being recognised by the most recognised sustainability awards in the country. So it really does, help bolster the team. The one thing that I found probably most amazing about pulling together the application was it forced me to draw all this information that I had in various different places, bits of information stored in different parts of my head, in different documents and in different databases online. It forced me to bring it all together into one document. And that has then made it so much easier for me to craft some of our sponsorship and grant applications, craft my community presentations that I tailor each time I go out to a community organisation and speak. And it reinforced in my head those instant stats, because I've got that visual cue in my head of, for example, that rubbish bin with the lithium batteries. I can see it anytime I'm out presenting up in front of people. I could say 680 kilograms of batteries recycled appropriately. It's given us a document to pull back onto when we're writing things for the future. One thing that I have used to leverage the award to our advantage is I was at the Waste Conference in May up in Coffs Harbour, and there was someone from the New South Wales EPA circular economy department talking about circular economy programs, whatever. And I thought, why do they know about us? Like, surely they should know about us. We won the New South Wales Circular Economy Award last year, and then we won the national one this year. So I just found her email online and sent her a message and saying, did you know that we are currently the holders of the National Sustainability Award for Circular Economy? And it opened up a door to have a meeting with the people in policy at the EPA, and it's people behind policy that then help to make sure that the funding that comes out of the EPA is going to the right programs. I was like, finally, I'd never been able to get their attention previously, because just on a simple web search, the Reconnect project looks like a really small operation, and we are, but we have a massive impact in what we do. So that's one example of how winning the award has really given us the opportunity to approach other potential avenues for funding or for networking, but also given us the confidence to go out and do that, and to be able to confidently stand up and say, we are winners. We're doing something amazing. People better bloody believe it. So that's the difference it's made for us as a very small organisation. And I encourage people to give it a go, because if anything, even if you don't win, even if you don't make it through to being a finalist, that opportunity to pull all that information together to craft an application is such a worthwhile activity because it instantly gives you an opportunity to reflect on your own successes, which a lot of the time we don't do because we're just out there trying to make a difference in the world. We don't actually stand back and say, yeah, actually, it's not all right. So, yeah.
Thanks, Annette. I just, as I said, it was the loudest cheer I heard at an awards program when Annette won that award. So I think she blew the room away. So it was wonderful to see. And Annette, I just want to congratulate you on the work you're doing because, you know, I know it's a work of passion and, you know, as I said, what you're doing. But I do want to do a bit of a shout out. Anyone there that's got any grant money or any money that they might want to throw into a good project, please, I'm happy to connect you with Annette because, as I said, she's continually looking for funding, which I know what that's like. But it's such a worthwhile program. So I'd be happy to connect anyone that's got a few $1 million lying around spare, you know. So who knows? Who knows?
I'll take 10 grand.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
if in your organisations you have decommissioned mobile phones, tablets, or laptops, and you want them to go to a good cause, we can make that happen. And our database tracks the outcome of every device that comes into us. We can tell you how much we spent on spare parts, and then where it went out to which social service organisation. You know, whether it was Salvos or the Wayside Chapel or the local community health service that used that device to connect a woman in a DV refuge to enable her to get back into education. We gather all that data so we can report back to people who donate us technology as to how it's gone to help. Sales pitch over.
No, look, I'll tell you what, this is what it's all about. It's networking. It's helping each other. So if anyone wants to get in contact with Annette, please contact either myself or Inka, and we're happy to connect you. I'm just going to open the floor. We've got a minute or so. Any questions from anybody? And please speak up because it's really hard to see hands up or any of this. Just please start speaking. No questions?
I've got another question. I didn't want to cut anybody else out. Are you okay to take another one?
Yeah, sure, Roger, go ahead.
Annette and Deb, and just generally, I suppose, so far we haven't mentioned the SDGs at all. It seems to be a focus of what I've been reading on the structure or the entry kit. Can you possibly, I suppose I better choose someone to ask this. I don't know who the right person is, but how do we do that maybe, Graz? What do you think? What's the best way of dealing with that?
Roger, we have a tool on the website, SDG Align tool. If you're not familiar with the SDG.
No, I am, but I
You are?
it hasn't been mentioned yet.
Okay, no, look, it's as I said, and I do apologise. We are very interested in seeing what SDGs you're working across, and which SDGs you're as I said, considering. And that could be mentioned even in a table of what you're doing. That could be actually in a table format, what SDGs you're working at specifically, and then just explaining a little bit of how your work goes towards that. But that is really important. And I'm sorry, I just that's an omission from my part. But yes,
it's okay. I noticed that in the kit it was made very clear that those matters needed to be addressed. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. If you could show us which SDGs you are aligning to and how you're working towards those, that would be fantastic. And if anybody is not clear about the SDGs, and there is a wonderful toolkit that we've partnered with SDG Align on our website that you can actually go through and assess what you're doing and where you need to go, and just understanding the SDG platform a little bit better. No, thank you.
Can I add a comment there?
Sure. Yeah.
The way I did it was in my narrative, in the different sections, what I was talking about, I would refer, I said, we provide employment opportunities to disadvantaged individuals, in brackets, SDG Align with goal 5.2 or whatever. So I included it within the narrative all the way through the document to show these are the different areas on how we align with the goals.
Yeah, we did something similar to you in that, yeah, we had in our subheadings, you know, what the topic was, and then in brackets what SDG it was relevant to, and kind of built it in that way.
Thanks, guys. No, thank you for that. And thank you for bringing that up, Roger. Important point. Any other questions from anybody? 3 more seconds. Any other questions? I don't think anybody's okay. Well, hopefully that means that we've done a good job. And I would like to sincerely thank Isabella Kobolansky, our judge, and Annette and Deb. Again, congratulations on the wonderful work you're doing and winning the awards. But thank you for a really, really good presentation. I think it gave me a bit of an insight too. I'm always learning. And it's great to hear perspectives from entrants and from winners. As I said, it's great to hear where you've come and how the awards have helped you, which is what we are all trying to do, and make sure that each one of our winners, finalists, really get the recognition that you truly deserve. So I'll be finalizing the session now. Please reach out if you need any information. We're always there to help. And I'd like to also thank Imka and Lynn for doing such an amazing job, our staff, in working on the New South Wales Awards, and also again the department, the New South Wales Department. They're a fantastic mob to work with. They're really great and easy to work with, which is really, really good. And we appreciate their support. So as I said, congratulations to winners, and hopefully I will be meeting you at the awards, everyone else, and maybe handing over that trophy. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Roger.